Another spectacular day on Cape Cod, as it is an East versus West Division rival matchup between the Wareham Gatemen and the Mariners of Harwich. As the lineups are set, the batters' boxes have been painted, the pitcher's mound has been raked, and we're almost set for baseball. As today, Mariners look to try to continue the trend they've been on. They've been streaking up as of late after taking 3 out of 4 points from the Kettleers in that series. And with the win the first game in Little Park and now a tie yesterday, they tied the Kettleers 3-3. Austin, what were your thoughts about yesterday's game?
So in yesterday's game, the Harwich Mariners were unable to come through with big hits when they needed them. They had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning in that game. So I'm not upset they didn't add more than 3 in the bottom of the 6th. But what really hurt the Mariners was in the bottom of the 10th inning when there were the bases loaded and 1 out, and they were unable to come through in that spot. And that's what really hurt the Mariners last night, because they had come through there. That's a win. You get 2 points as opposed to 1. And right now the Mariners are in the thick of that playoff race right now. They're currently in 3rd place. They're fighting with the Chatham Anglers, the Brewster Whitecaps, and the Orleans Firebirds. The Mariners are in a pretty good spot in terms of the playoff races because they're 9 points up on last place Brewster, but still, they still need to get it. If they want to get into 2nd place in this division, they're only 2 points back from Chatham. Every point is really important at this point in the season. So again, they're going to need to win tonight's game. They're going to need to continue to win if they're looking to move up in the standings.
Well, especially Chatham, who has dropped 3 straight games as of late. They've been losing a couple in a row, and now the Harwich Mariners can maybe move up and take advantage of that situation. Mariners will take on the Gatemen, as I mentioned before, and on the mound for the Wareham Gatemen is Derek West out of Pittsburgh, and he'll face off against the right-handed pitcher out of Stetson University in Austin Wood. And Austin Wood has struggled at times, but we have seen some flashes of greatness from Wood.
Yeah, so Wood's been a little bit all over the place. He's not been fantastic since joining the Harwich Mariners. He had some trouble, especially in some of his earlier games versus teams like YD, but he's had some appearances since then versus Brewster. He pitched relatively well, 3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, a couple of hits, a few walks, and I think there's one theme that has been consistent throughout, and it's been the walks. And he's allowed 12 walks in 9 innings, and that's just far too many walks. If he wants to compete in tonight's game, he can't allow a walk per inning, because then it's just like a hit. And if you're allowing a hit or 2 per inning, then all of a sudden the runs are just going to pour on through, and he can't hit as many batters as he has hit as well. He's hit a number of batters so far this season, especially versus YD. So if he can avoid hitting anybody this tonight, and he can cut down on the walks, I think he should be okay. But those are the 2 points that are most important tonight for Austin Wood.
Well, especially a team as in Wareham, who leads the league in walks. They're ahead of the Harwich Mariners. So we'll have to see if the Gatemen can maybe work some walks against Wood, or if Wood can really find the zone early on and pound the zone. And Austin, what are some players we should watch out for on the Mariners side that if the Mariners want to win today, these guys will need to produce and give the Mariners a chance to win?
Well, there are a number of guys who've been stepping up recently. I think Andre Lipsius is the guy who has been outstanding as of late. 7 out of his last 9 at-bats, he's gotten a hit. He's reached base in 8 of his last 10. So this is a guy who is absolutely red hot at the plate. He's in the 3 spot tonight. Nate Eichhoff, another guy who's hitting the ball pretty well, along with Matt Gorski. So these are other guys you may want to keep an eye on. Shunk has been a little bit down as recently, so we'll have to see if he can pick it back up. So again, if I'm looking at a few guys, can Andre Lipsius stay hot? Can Nate Eichhoff continue to produce? He's in the cleanup spot tonight. Matt Gorski, and then looking a little bit of Aaron Shunk as well, seeing if he can get some hits and really help this Mariners offense. He's in the 2 spot tonight.
The Mariners are looking for those all-stars who will be playing back here on Sunday, maybe help them produce in Shunk and Lipsius. We'll have to see if those 2 guys can keep things going. So first pitch is almost underway, but first we'll step aside for the national anthem. You listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Face the flag in right field as we honor America with our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Eddie Barrett.
go back inside. Beautiful White House Field, which will host the All-Star game this Sunday. Before we get to Sunday, we'll go through the defensive alignment for the Harwich Mariners this evening.
Starting in left field for the Harwich Mariners, Ben Norman. In center field is Matt Gorski. In right field, Gabe Rivera. From third to first, Aaron Shunk at third, Andre Lipsius at short, Danny Casals at second base, and Nate Eichhoff over at first base. And doing the catching for Austin Wood is Mason Meadows.
And we'll go through the Wareham Gatemen this time around as leading things off. Saheed Valenzuela, second baseman, batting second, as the third baseman, Austin Shenton, batting third to left fielder, Jamie Idens. Batting fourth, the cleanup spot is the designated hitter this evening, and Pavin Parks. Batting fifth is the former highest Harbor Hawk, the right fielder, Jacob Goldfarb. Batting sixth is the first baseman, Lael Lockhart. Batting seventh is the shortstop, Ryan Kreidler. Batting eighth, Luke Ross from the catcher. And right at the bottom is the center fielder, Skylar Hunter.
It's a different lineup tonight than it was back in the beginning of the season, and that's awfully clear. Of course, at the beginning of the season, they had Andrew Vaughn, Bryant Packard, Bryson Stott, and Parker Phillips. The 3 through 6 spots were nothing short of outstanding. And then in the 8 spot was Austin Shenton. And Austin Shenton now leads the league in average. So he's going to be in the 2 spot tonight, as you mentioned, for the Wareham Gatemen. But they don't have Andrew Vaughn. They no longer have Packard, Stott, or Phillips. And those were their 4 biggest hitters. So it's been tough for the Wareham Gatemen to go from that roster to the roster they have now. They still have a lot of talent, but it's not the same group that they had to start the season.
So now, first pitch has been thrown, and it is now Austin Wood on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. He'll start things off against Saheed Valenzuela, the second baseman. Valenzuela, switch hitter, will take it from left side against the right-handed pitcher, Austin Wood. Valenzuela steps into the left side. First pitch from Wood is in there for strike one and underway from White House Field. So Austin Wood last pitch, his last appearance against these Wareham Gatemen back in Wareham on July 15th, just last Sunday, where he ended up picking up the loss, but 0-1 pitch is chopped foul. Austin Wood picks it up as he hustles over down the line as Valenzuela was digging down the first base side, but goes foul, so he'll retreat back to the batter's box and home plate area and count as no balls and 2 strikes.
The ball was about 5 feet into foul territory, but Austin Wood was awfully excited to get over to that ball, make sure it was still called foul officially.
You never know sometimes with baseball and the way you can spin off those end of the bats. Can kick back at any time. So count as no balls and 2 strikes on the second baseman. Wood gets his side, the 0-2. Pitch runs outside for ball 1. Valenzuela plays his college ball at Cal State Fullerton. Native of Yuma, Arizona. Tries to model his game after Jose Altuve, and it makes sense. I mean, he's a middle infielder, shortstop this evening. Altuve, of course, second base. 1-2 pitch is chopped hardly foul, this time towards the Gateman dugout. And Valenzuela as well is only 5'9". Jose Altuve, one of the shortest players in the game, but a guy that can still flat out rake in the major league level. I believe Altuve is only 5'7". I think Nick Madrigal was just drafted, was 5'8" out of Oregon State. He was a first-round draft pick. 1-2 pitch to Valenzuela is right back at Wood. He makes a grab. His mitt was perfectly placed as Valenzuela wanted right back at Wood. A nice reaction time from Wood as they're looking one out here in the top of the first.
That ball is headed right back up the middle for a base hit for Valenzuela, but a nice job from Wood, and it's just reflexes. You see that ball, and you just bring your mitt right over to it, and you just don't even think about it. It's such a quick reaction, and nice play by Austin Wood there.
So 1 out here in the top of the first, scoreless ball game. For those of you just joining us, I'm Thomas, alongside my broadcasting partner, Austin Rooney, not Austin Wood. First pitch from Wood, misses low outside.
It'd be interesting. I could go out there on the mound and try to pitch for the Harwich Mariners. I may have a little bit of trouble out there.
Well, the way that ESPN and Fox are doing the in-player, in-game interviews, I mean, we should start doing that as the 1-0 pitch is lifted out towards right field, drop from a base hit in front on the right field this evening, Gabe Rivera. And Austin Shenton continues to hit the ball over the ballpark. He comes in second in the league in average and picks up an only single here in the top half of the first.
Austin Shenton's been outstanding this year. He just extends his hit streak to 6 games right there. And again, he's been one of the best hitters on Cape Cod. On base percentage over 500 and OPS over 1,000. It's been a very strong year for the right-handed hitter.
So now with one out, run on first base after Shenton's one-out single. It is now the three-hole hitter, Jeremy Idens, takes a first pitch fastball above the letters for ball one. Idens getting a start in left field this evening. Out of UCLA. As he waves his bat towards the right-handed pitcher, Wood steps off the back rubber for a second, and walking back to first is Shenton as Wood reapply himself back on the mound. Looks in for the sign. Wood comes set, the 1-0 pitch. Inside corner, strike one at the belt as Idens backs out and readjusts his batting gloves. Count is now 1-1 strike on the left fielder. The 1-1 pitch to Idens runs low and outside for ball two. Count is now 2-1 strike. Idens, who's also been putting on a tear, hitting .336 this season with 1 home run and 21 runs batted in.
Yeah, he picked up right where he left off over at UCLA. He had a .350 batting average at UCLA this past season, an OPS near 1,000. He was outstanding. He's looked good on Cape Cod.
As the one out, line drive out the shortstop, Lipsius, who's going to throw back over towards first base to get Shenton, but just couldn't quite get the ball out of the man and out of the webbing. It might have just on the transfer lost possession of it. So Shenton's back in safely over at first, but Idens lines out to the shortstop this evening on Andre Lipsius. So now at 2 outs, it is the cleanup spot. It is Paven Parks to DH. Parks went 1 for 2 with a run back in Sunday's victory, comeback victory over the Mariners. First pitch of Parks bounces in the dirt. Good stop by the catcher, Meadows, for ball one. We're looking to strand Shenton over at first base after he singled with 1 out in this top of the first scoreless ball game to this point. A 1-0 pitch from Wood is skied high up in the air towards the right side. Meadows will give it a look, but is well out of play over across the first base bleacher side for strike one. Count is now 1-1 strike.
I think Austin Wood's done a nice job so far with his control. Now, the most important thing is, you can throw some balls, but you have to make sure you're ahead in the count. And he's generally, for the most part tonight, he's done that. He's been ahead in the count, and that has allowed him to throw the pitches that he wants to throw. When you're behind in the count, you're oftentimes forced to throw that fastball or maybe a breaking ball over the heart of the plate. When you're ahead in the count, you can mix them up. You can afford to throw some balls and try to get the hitters to chase.
1 pitch runs inside for ball two. Parks plays his college ball over at Kent State, one of the flashers. A couple of guys playing their college ball here on the Cape. Manuel Burse, as well as Chris Carpenter, as the 2-1 pitch is in there for strike two. Count is now 2 strikes. So 2 outs here. Shenton off of first. 2-2 is the count on Parks. Wood looks and gets his side, comes set from the belt. He kicks and deals. A 2-2 curveball swung on and missed. And Parks goes down swinging as Shenton is left over at first base. So nothing doing there as no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on base for the Gatemen. And after the top of the first, still scoreless ball game. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. welcome back inside White House Field for the home half of the first inning. Wareham Gatemen able to put a run across here on the top of the first, and we'll look through the defensive side for the Gatemen right now.
On the defense for the Wareham Gatemen, Idens in left, Hunter in center, Goldfarb in right, Shenton at third base, Kreidler at shortstop, Valenzuela at second, Lockhart at first, and Roscom is doing the catching for Derek West.
So in the leadoff spot this evening for the Harwich Mariners is the left fielder Ben Norman. First pitch he sees, he lines it out towards left center field. Alley out there for a base hit. He rounds first base. And throwing the ball back in is Skyler Hunter out in center field. So one pitch and a single off the bat of Ben Norman as he gets things going here for the Mariners here in the bottom of the first.
I talked to Ben Norman before tonight's game. I asked him about what it means for him to lead off, and he told me he's led off a couple of times back at Iowa. And that, it's not too different for him to lead off. He doesn't have a totally different mentality. You want to get on base, but of course you always want to try to get on base, but it's just a little bit more important when you're that leadoff hitter.
So nobody out off of first is leadoff hitter Norman. First pitch to Aaron Shunk misses down below the knees. So we've seen Coach Engert so far shuffling that lineup around just a bit. Aaron Shunk now sliding up to the 2 spot, and Lipsius up in the 3. Eichhoff in the 4 hole. So we'll see if this can maybe produce a couple more runs, get more back-to-back hits as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled out of play.
And Tanner Morris has the night off tonight. I spoke to him before tonight's game. He just told me regular night off. He's played a lot of games in a row, and Coach Engler, gives him a day off.
Morris, one of those all-stars that'll be playing here on Sunday, representing the Harwich Mariners. One pitch to Shunk. Skips in the dirt for ball 2. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. And another one of those all-stars in Tom Sutera, who pitched in yesterday's ball game, we like to congratulate Sutera, who was offered a big league contract with the Phillies, and he has verbally accepted it. It's just pending on a physical. So we like to congratulate to the Sutera family and friends as the 2-1 pitch is grounded over towards the shortstop area. Credo picks it up, throw across down to first base, and Shunk is retired. As advancing towards second base is Ben Norman as he was running on the pitch.
Yeah, Norman was running on the pitch, and there was no way for the shortstop Kreidler to try to make a play over at second base, as Norman would have been in there easily. He looked over at second, decided not to throw, and then threw over to first and got Shunk. Shunk runs pretty well, so it was a relatively close play over at first base.
So 1 out, and now a runner in scoring position for the first time this evening for the Harwich Mariners, and is now the ever-dangerous shortstop this evening, and Andre Lipsius, who's been on a tear at the plate so far.
You mentioned how well he's been hitting, 7 for 9 over his last 2 games.
First pitch is a slow roller over towards the shortstop here, coming around the ball as the shortstop Crowley throws on a first, and Lipsius is retired. So Lipsius unable to move the runner over at second base in Norman, so 2 outs, runner on second base here in the home half of the first inning.
That's the most gently hit ball we've seen Lipsius hit in quite some time. Somebody who has been hitting the ball hard even when he's gotten out over the last couple of games, but just a weak ground ball over towards shortstop this time around.
So 2 outs in the inning. Norman Stale stands off of second base. West comes set facing off against the left-handed hitter Nate Eichhoff. First pitch Eichhoff sees is a off-speed pitch that misses in the dirt for ball 1. We see Eichhoff as well being shuffled around. He's playing first base this evening. He's played almost all over the field. The guy has played second base, third, left field, first base. So a nice utility man for Coach Engler and the Mariners. Count is 1 ball and no strikes after third baseman Shenton went on a talk towards his pitcher West. 1-0 pitch. Curveball outside corner for strike 1. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike on the first baseman this evening, and Nate Eichhoff.
Nate Eichhoff has been hitting the ball pretty well recently. He's been getting on base a lot and has some power in that bat. We're just yet to see the power break out, but we're seeing the extra base hits. We're seeing the singles. Glad to see if he can come through with a runner in scoring position.
1-1 pitch is a high fly ball out towards right field, giving a look as the right fielder Goldfarb, but this is foul, and that had some distance to it as well, as Norman will now trot back to second base as the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I was about to say, some of his power on display in that swing right there.
He might have just got under it, but it was a good piece of hitting off the bat of Eichhoff, as there are 2 strikes on him now, off to protect.
Has a 6-game hitting streak going as well.
West couldn't quite get a sign from his catcher Roscoe, but Eichhoff will just call time and back out from the batter's box.
Multiple hits in 3 of those 6 games.
1 ball, 2 strikes is the count on Eichhoff. The 1-2 pitch is fouled off over across the third base side. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we saw Eichhoff hit a home run here towards the left field and over the 330 side. That one that just squeezed out a couple games back here at White House Field.
It did. It was over the last weekend, and it was versus Brewster, as he just got it over the 330 side. Probably hit that ball 335 feet. Just barely enough to get it over the wall, but not many guys had the power the opposite way like that, so it's quite impressive to see him hit that opposite field home run.
1-2 pitch. Eichhoff swung on a miss and foul tipped into the mid of Roscom. So the Mariners able to score Norman off at second base, and after 1 is a scoreless ball game between the Wareham Gamemen and the Harwich Mariners. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
And back inside White House Field for the top of the second inning. Austin Wood back on the hill for his second inning work. He'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters in this dangerous Gateman lineup, and it is Jacob Goldfarb, the right fielder. First pitch misses for ball 1 on the right fielder this evening. Mentioned before, Goldfarb bounced around the Cape so far this season, as the 1-0 pitch misses low and inside for ball 2, counts 2 balls and no strikes. Goldfarb, who played in Hyannis early in the year, is now with the Gateman. 2-0 pitch from Wood outside corner for strike 1. Nice fastball there located at the knees for strike 1. Counts 2 balls and 1 strike on Goldfarb. Goldfarb, who's only 2 for 13 since joining the Gatemen.
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit deceiving, though, because Goldfarb has actually had one of the most interesting statistics so far on Cape Cod that I've seen, as he has been able to walk a lot. He has 9 walks in 22 plate appearances.
Through him, just swung on and a little blue pit off the end of the bat into the center field for a base. Sitting Goldfarb is aboard for the first time this evening in his first at bat, as the Gateman had the leadoff man here in the top of the second.
And just to give you an idea of how incredible that was, he had a 154 batting average coming into the at bat. He had a 500 on base percentage, so he was able to walk just that much. Had a great eye at the plate, but this time he's able to work a base hit.
He was up in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike, and able to pull one out towards center field as time is called for the second baseman Casals to tie his shoes out there.
It's one of the reasons that batting average is used far less frequently than on base percentage at this point, because batting average is just not quite as important. It does not incorporate some of the important statistics like walks, and a walk is as good as a single is in almost every situation.
So now is Lale Lockhart, the first baseman, who will set to do work from the left side. First pitch from Wood misses Just a bit off the plate for ball one on Lockhart. Wood so far has only allowed 2 hits to the game, and looking to continue that trend here as the 1-0 pitch to Lockhart. Outside half of the plate for strike one. Counters evens back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. It is only Wood's second start of the season. A spot start in Brewster back on July 12th as the 1-1 pitch runs upstairs for ball 2. Counts 2-1. Wood comes set. He kicks and deals. Run going towards second base as the 2-1 pitch is swung on a high pop fly, and he'll reach the seats down on the left field side for strike 2. Count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Wareham may be trying to remove some runners over, get some guys in motion. Oh, there is 2 strikes on Lockhart now as he steps out of the batter's box and restrap the batting gloves. Lockhart steps back in. Wood comes in, he kicks and fires. 2-2 pitch outside the corner, just missing as Mason Meadows, the catcher, tried to move the glove just over, shadowed over the latter half the plate, but just misses. The count runs full.
Yeah, the 2-2 pitch was awfully close, but just missing outside on Lockhart.
So count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wood gets his side, running towards second base, misses for ball 4, throw down. Doesn't matter anyway as the pitch misses, so able to work a walk is Lockhart. So now the runners on first and second base, and there's nobody better in the business to work a walk than a Wareham Gateman hitter. Again, I mentioned before, they lead the league in walks as they pick up their first walk in this ball game. So still nobody out. Runners on first and second base, no outs. First 2 came in this inning have reached base. Now as Kreidler, who steps in, shows bunt as the pitch hops into the mitt of the catcher Meadows. He shifted the body over to block that one as the count is 1 ball and no strikes. So the game may try to manufacture a run if they try to bunt again. First baseman Eichhoff in on the grass. 1-0 pitch to Crowley, swings away. First pitch is cut on, or the 1-0 pitch is cut on and miss. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Crowder also out of UCLA, one of the Bruins. 238 average so far in this Cape League season. As the 1-1 pitch is swung on and a hard hit ball into left center field. Picking up the ball as normally slips and falls, throws it back into second base, but Goldfarb was able to score all the way from second base, and just like that, the Gatemen are on top of the Harwich Mariners by a score of 1-0 on the RBI single off the bat of the shortstop Ryan Kreidler.
It's a solid piece of hitting from Kreidler as he lines that ball up to left center field between Norman and Gorski. And the Harwich Mariners fall behind just like that. Easily able to come home is Goldfarb from second base.
So now runners down the corners with still no outs as the number 8 hitter in this lineup, Luke Roscom. The catcher who has done some damage so far to the Mariners. The first pitch of Roscom misses off the plate for ball 1. Roscom, of course, had that bases, they clear the bases in the 10th inning. Back on Sunday as the 1-0 pitch to Roscom is popped up high in the air and out of play. For strike 1, count as 1 ball and 1 strike. Or I say the 9th inning, he played it 3 runs off that double, and when the bases were loaded, cleared the bases, ended up tying the game up as stepping off of first base is Crowther. He heads back, maybe not sure what's going on there. Not sure if that's intentional or if
it may have been. It looked like it may have been intentional, trying to divert Wood's attention, probably try to get him in a rundown and see if they can score a run from third base. It is a little early for that, though, as there are still no outs.
Ball and pitch is swung on and chopped over towards the on-deck circle for strike two. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I know also that can almost force a pitcher to, I guess in a way, almost balk too, because if they don't step off the rubber, that could lead to a balk and him advancing. So 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. Wood gets his sign. He kicks and fires. 1-2 pitch curveball runs inside as the catcher Meadows slides the body over and blocks it. As now I think they will issue him first base as it came in and hit Roscom. He was plaiting with the umpire, home plate umpire, Mark Delaney, and finally he grants him. As now Coach Engler will have a word with Mark Delaney, try to see if that actually did hit him or not.
Well, the umpiring crew tonight, Mark Delaney behind home plate, Sam Finn at first, Michael Finn at third, the father-son duo. And Mark Delaney, he was not the one who made the initial call.
That was the third base umpire.
And Coach Engler is saying, well, if you didn't see it, well, how are you able to make that determination?
From Purdue, Skylar Hunter.
And now the pitching coach, Coach Grunberg, will run out to the pitcher's mound. Meadows will join him on the mound, as well as Aaron Shunk. So still no outs. The bases are loaded now. That's a big decision there as it loads the bases with no outs still. And there was 2 strikes on the bat of Roscom, so the Gaiman early lead this game by a score of 1-0 after Crowder's RBI single. So just to recap the inning, Jacob Goldfarb started things off with a single. Lockhart then walked, and then the single from Kreidler. Able to score Goldfarb off of second base. Lockhart advanced to third, and then just last batter Luke Roscoe was hit by a pitch. So the bases are juiced, no outs, 1-0 Gaiman lead over the Mariners. It is now the number 9 hitter, Skylar Hunter. Hunter out of Purdue. Plays both the center field and the shortstop position. First pitch to Hunter, gets away from the catcher Meadows, and coming in to score is Lockhart.
Yeah, it's a very wild pitch from Austin Wood. That one missed Meadows by a lot, was probably 5 or 6 feet off the plate. And it gets by him and all the way to the backstop and gives the Wareham Gatemen a 2-0 lead. And advancing 90 feet are both of the other 2 runners. So Wareham Gatemen not done yet. They have 2 more in scoring position with still no outs in the top of the second inning.
So now 2 RBIs out for Sky Hunter as the 1-0 pitch is in there at the knees for strike 1. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike. So it's now a 2-0 Gaiman lead. Runners on second and third. Still no outs as Wood comes set. Gets his sign and fires the 1-1 pitch then. Misses on the outside chalk of the right-handed batter's box. Counts now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 runs outside as the catcher Meadows will have to stick his hand out to get that one. It counts 3-1. Hunter so far this season only hitting 182, 17 for 93. He does have 9 RBIs added to his name. Has 2 men out in scoring position right now as the throw-on pitch misses outside for ball 4, and just like that, Hunter works a walk as now the bases are loaded once more.
Yeah, and Woods had trouble this inning. It's just as simple as that. He's allowed a couple of walks, has not had the same control he had back in the first inning. He's now thrown more balls than he has strikes. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Can he have control? Can he limit the walks? Can he limit the spin? He's had 2 walks in the inning, and he hit a batter, and that's exactly what we were talking about in the pregame show.
So now the top of the order comes back around as the second baseman, Saeed Valenzuela. First pitch line. Valenzuela lined down his first time around.
Cal Kruger warming up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen as the Wareham Gatemen have an opportunity to blow this game open early.
1 curveball misses just a bit high for ball one, and count as 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, Cal Kruger, who was just re-signed to the Mariners. Same thing what happened with Danny Portamani, who made the start back on Sunday against the Gatemen. One pitch from Wood outside corner, nice pitch, good looking pitch there, but just doesn't catch the outside black. So count is 2 balls and 1 strike as Valenzuela is ahead in the count. Valenzuela 14 RBIs on the season. Bases are loaded here with no outs in the top of the second. As a 2-1 pitch is grounded hard down the first base side, as looks like he pulled that one. A little out in front was Valenzuela. Kenny was back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The first inning, it was 16 pitches from Austin Wood. He had 10 strikes, just 6 balls. Here in the second, it's 11 strikes, 16 balls.
Wood comes set, the 2-2 pitch, cut on and miss, and Valenzuela goes down swinging at a curveball that was buried in the dirt. It was a good-looking curve. One pitch to Shenton is skied up in the air out of play. Will head over the third base bleacher side as the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
season at school too. He hit 344, and that's after hitting 395 his freshman year. So he's put up some really, really good numbers at Florida International. And he's come on the Cape and done the exact same thing.
2-2 off-speed pitch is in there for strike 3. And I'm not sure what's going on there. The home plate umpire he just made a regular strike call. It wasn't strike 3, and then Shenton stood in there for a couple of seconds. But it is strike 3, so Shenton goes down looking. Not sure what's going on the field level, but I think a couple guys just forgot, what the count might have been.
And while Austin Wood's pitch count may be rising, I don't think he's too worried about that right now because he's just recorded back-to-back strikeouts versus the Wareham Gatemen.
And now his 3 punch-outs on the evening is now the 3-hitter Jeremy Idens. First pitch in there on the inside corner for strike 1. Idens also lined out his first time out this evening to the shortstop Lipsius. A 1 pitch check swing, and he goes around completely there. The curveball in the dirt, and Idens went hacking down there at below the knees. So count is no balls and 2 strikes as Wood is in the driver's seat here in this count against Idens. Wood from the windup, the 0-2 pitch to Idens, cut on and missed. And just like that, with the bases loaded, Austin Wood strikes out the next 3 hitters. However, the Gatemen do get 2 runs, but Wood able to limit the damage on the mound. So after 1.5, it is the Gatemen 2, Mariners nothing. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the bottom half of the second inning. And it's been a beautiful day on Cape Cod. It's another one of those days where temperature's around 80 degrees, a little bit of wind, so it keeps nice and cool off the water. And it's worked its way out here towards White House Field. It's a picturesque evening to watch a baseball game. And Mariners now, they're in a deficit now by 2 runs as Sidney Casals, the second baseman, will start things off for the Mariners.
A very long top of the second inning. We'll have to see how Derek West can respond after such a long layoff. We've talked about it a number of times when a pitcher has been cold, and so far since we've talked about it at the beginning of the season, we haven't really seen so many pitchers have trouble with it, but sometimes it will affect a pitcher being off for a while.
West comes back and fires a first pitch fastball into Casals as the 0-1 curveball runs a little bit too far outside as the catcher Roscom just couldn't quite handle it. Just dipped a little bit too much on him and go all the way to the screen as the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. West working from the stretch. 1-1 pitch to Casals. He moves out of the way as the pitch came a little bit too inside on him on the chalk area of the right-handed side, and able to get out of the way as the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. Casals' .219 average this year as the 2-1 pitch hops in there to the catcher Roscom as he scoops it, and his count is now 3 balls and 1 strike. Of course, Casals with 21 RBIs is one of the league leaders on the Cape League. Been producing runs for the Mariners all season long as the 3-1 pitch is at the knees for a strike, and Casals thought that was ball 4. He was about ready to toss that, but now have to walk back around to the right side.
Sal's has walked a lot, but it was almost all at the very beginning of the season. I think he had something like 10 walks in the first 5 or 10 games. Since then, only a total of 15.
And a 3-2 pitch is in there for a strike through on the inside corner as Casals goes down looking. And as back-to-back punch-outs dating to last inning for West, he is now 2 on the evening. As Casals goes down looking, so 1 out here in the home half of the second inning. 2-0 Gateman lead. Mariners do have 1 hit off the bat of Ben Norman in the last inning. Left him out over at second base. They couldn't quite get him around. There's now the center fielder Matt Gorski who swings the first pitch and will foul it off over towards the Gateman bench area. Count is no balls and 1 strike. So as I mentioned before, the Gatemen do have 2 runs, 1 off the wild pitch and the other off of the bat of Kryler, the shortstop, RBI single as a 1 pitch. Off-speed is in there as well for strike 2. Count is no balls and 2 strikes. Gorski, who is hitting .287 on this Gabe League season, has 6 RBIs as the 0-2 pitch is swung on and lifted out towards straightaway center. The center fielder Hunter coming on and will make the catch. 2 up, 2 down so far for the pitcher West. Here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, West has found a lot of success so far outside of the leadoff base hit from Ben Norman in the bottom of the first inning. 3 consecutive outs to finish that inning from Shunk, Lipsius, and Eichhoff, and then retiring the first 2 batters in the bottom of the second in order.
So now is the DH this inning, Logan Driscoll, who will come back around to the left side to face the right-handed pitcher West. First pitch to Driscoll misses down and inside for ball 1. Roskin couldn't quite hold on to it. Count is 1 ball and no strikes on Driscoll. Driscoll came in as a substitute late in the game yesterday. Did work 2 walks, so didn't record an at-bat yesterday, but had 2 walks. Worked some brilliant at-bats yesterday as the 1-0 pitch is grounded hard on the hole between first and second. The second baseman Valenzuela spins and turns. And he'll retire Logan Driscoll. Nice play by the second baseman Valenzuela. And just like that, a 1-2-3 inning work by West. So after 2, it is the Gatemen 2, Mariners nothing. Let's do Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Here in the top of the 3rd inning, Mariners trail the game by a score of 2-0. They score both the runs back in the 2nd inning and look to get back to work here as he's a cleanup hitter, Paven Parks, the DH this evening, who struck out back in the 1st, looking to get on base for the first time this evening. He will step in from the left side, taps home plate twice, and will wave his bat towards the pitcher. Wood comes back, first pitch misses down below the knees for ball 1 on Parks. Parks, who is hitting 196 and 61 at bats, 1 home run and 10 runs driven in for the Gatemen this year, as 1-0 pitch comes right back in at the knees for strike one. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike. Wood so far has allowed 3 hits and 2 runs. The 1 pitch is slapped foul down the first base side. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes on Parks, as Wood is ahead in the count. So Wood looks to come back here and work a 1-2-3 after allowing 2 runs last inning. 1-2 pitches hammered down hard on a line and drive towards the bullpen area, just out in front. There was Parks. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Parks sets back in, and the 1-2 pitch is cut on and missed and scooped in there by the catcher. Mendel's will tag Parks out for out number 1, and that's another punch out for Austin Wood. Make that 5 on the evening, including 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's just looked like a completely different Austin Wood over the last 4 batters. He had the bases loaded, allowed 2 runs, 1 inning of work. Things were not looking great. Then all of a sudden he strikes out 4 straight. It looks like no one can touch him.
So Park strikes out for the 2nd time this evening, and is now the man who started things last inning, Jacob Goldfarb. First pitch, curveball, will reach the outside corner for strike 1. Nice looking curveball there from Wood. Pitch started on the zone and finished on the outside corner as the 0-1 pitch from Wood. Curveball this time is down and inside, and Goldfarb swings at that one for a strike. Counts no balls and 2 strikes now. And you're exactly right. This is not the same Austin Wood that started last inning. He's looked very sharp here over the last 5 batters. As the 0-2 pitch to Goldfarb, check swing, it's in there for strike 3. And Austin Wood is flat out dealing right now for the Mariners. He has now retired 5 in a row on the strikeout, 6 on the evening.
Well, this was the Austin Wood that was at Stetson this past season. He was outstanding there, and he just really hasn't been able to show it yet on Cape Cod. He's had a couple appearances where he's done somewhat well, but this is the first time we're really seeing what Austin Wood can be. 5 straight strikeouts in the top of the 3rd inning now.
First pitch, the first baseman Lockhart bounces in for ball 1.
And I was talking about it earlier. There were a total of 20 balls and 22 strikes. This is going back to last inning. And now 15 of his last 18 pitches have been for a strike. And that just shows the control he can have.
1-0 pitch is fouled off at the plate by Lockhart at himself. So counts now 1 ball and 1 strike on Lockhart. He has had some great control at times, and at other times he hasn't. We're seeing right now he has that control, and he's just dominating the opposition as the 1-1 pitch to Lockhart. Off-speed pitch on the outer half of the plate again for a strike. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think a lot of it is he has really good stuff. He's not hit very well. The other team, rarely do you see an appearance from Austin Wood in which the reason that he's run into trouble is that he's been allowing a lot of hits. Usually it's the walks because he has such good stuff.
1-2 pitch, outside corner, strike 3. Lockhart goes down looking, and just like that, Austin Wood retires the side here in the 3rd inning. Make that 6 punch-outs in a row. It's unbelievable. 7 on the evening for Austin Wood, so we'll see if the Mariners bats can get going here in the bottom half of the 3rd. They trail the game by a score of 2-0. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. back inside White House Field from Harwich, Massachusetts. Been an outstanding performance over the last 6 batters. Wooders retired them all by the strikeout. He has 7 on the evening. But now it's up to the Mariners bats to try to get them going. Only 1 hit and no runs so far. First pitch to the catcher, Mason Meadows, fouls off the catcher, Roscom, for strike 1.
The Mariners just got the 1 hit, as you mentioned. It's the hit from the top of the first inning. Leadoff hitter Ben Norman had a single to left center field, and ever since then, the Harwich Mariners have had trouble scoring runs or getting hits at all.
0-1 curveball is on the outside corner at the knees for a strike. Mariners bench a little bit of dismay at that call. There's no balls and 2 strikes. The curveball really ran low and outside, and I guess just caught the corner as the 0-2 pitch to Meadows swung on and missed for strike 3. West picks up his 3rd strikeout of the game and picks up his the first stat here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. So now with 1 out, nobody on, it is the number 9 hitter Gabe Rivera, the right fielder out of Miami, sporting his green Miami colored arm sleeve. He'll set the do word from the right side, facing the right-handed pitcher West. First pitch to Rivera, curveball bounces and goes through everybody at behind home plate as Roscom couldn't quite handle that one. Count as 1-0. Rivera yesterday had an RBI. RBI single back in the 6th inning, went 1 for 5. He has been on the rise here as the 1-0 pitch runs up and inside for ball. Count is 2-0. As Rivera is ahead in the count.
He started off the season really well. I think he had 5 hits in maybe his first 2 games, I think it was, and he was looking outstanding, but coming around again at this point in the season.
2-0 pitch is right down Main Street for a strike at the belt. Count is now 2 balls and 1 strike on Rivera. Remember, Rivera and Gill, the 2 Miami Hurricanes this season, really started the season off well, but began to fade. Rivera's coming right back here as the 2-1. This is above the letters for a ball. Count is now 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Gabe Rivera is someone who has a lot of power, who can hit home runs. We saw it in that Fenway workout when he hit 5.
Throwing pitch to Rivera is cut on a miss for a strike as the count runs full here on Rivera. Begins to move some dirt around in that right-hander's batter's box. As he digs back into the back of the right side. Battle and shoulder back off the shoulder now. The 3-2 pitch from West. And it just misses for ball 4. Look awfully good. But Rivera works a 1-out walk here, and that's a tough take. Nice job by Rivera to work a walk.
Just the 3rd walk of the season work from Gabe Rivera, but he'll take it. And it looked awfully close. It was right towards that kneecap. And the home plate umpire, Mark Delaney, rules that it was just below for ball 4.
So now the top hitter comes back around, and it's Ben Norman, as you mentioned before, the only Mariner on this team that has a hit. And that was to start off the bottom of the 1st as first pitch Norman. Off-speed pitch misses on the inside half for ball 1.
And Ben Norman starting to look better at the plate for the Harwich Mariners, especially recently. He has a couple of hits in each of the last few games.
1-0 pitch Norman clips the outside edge for a strike. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So Rivera off at first after he worked a 1-out walk. Norman looks to continue this inning here. We get something going for the Mariners. Not much going on so far. 1-1 pitch to Norman. Right back on the outside corner for a strike as Norman's in the hole now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Waves his bat towards the pitcher West. West looks over towards first base at Rivera. He gets his sign from the belt. The 1-2 pitch to Norman off the end of the bat as it's dropping in towards left field, but the left fielder Idens comes on to make the catch, and it had a chance to drop him for a base hit, but the left fielder Idens coming on to make the catch.
Yeah, it looked like off the bat it may have a shot at being one of those Texas Leaguer bloopers between the shortstop and left fielder. Idens came in a few steps, though, and then realized he was going to be able to make a play on that ball. Ends up making it look like a routine play out there in left field.
So now there are 2 away here in the Bottom of the third inning, 2-0 Gateman lead over the Mariners. Rivera still off of first base. Number 2 hitter Aaron Shunk. First pitch to Shunk, bounces in the dirt for a ball. Good stop by the catcher Roscom. Shunk so far grounded. Now to the shortstop Kreidler. His first time around, looks to reach base here his second time as he taps home plate twice. Digs in from the backside of the right-hander's batter's box. The 1-0 pitch from West is cut on and missed for a strike. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Shunk. Shunk, whose average was over 300 for a while, has dipped down just a bit. Down to 283 on the season. He does have 14 RBIs on this Cape League season, though. 1-1 pitch to Shunk. As the off-speed pitch just doesn't quite catch the inside corner. I'm just wondering, you know, if Roscom was able to squeeze that, it might have been called a strike, but again, he's had some problems this evening catching some balls. So count is now 2-1 on Shunk. West comes set, he fires as the 2-1 pitch runs off the blade. The count runs to now to 3 balls and 1 strike. So Shunk tries to prolong this third inning as Rivera is still off of first base. 2-0 Gateman lead over the Mariners. West comes set, and the 3-1 pitch to Shunk is spoiled as that one is fouled off behind home plate for strike 2. Count runs full now, and now with the count being full and 2 outs, Rivera will be running on the pitch. The first baseman Lockhart will not hold them on over at first. So righty-righty matchup. West comes set. The payoff pitch to Shunk is once more popped up and out of play over the press box area as Rivera will have to now run back towards first base.
Shunk working a deep count versus West, looking for the pitch to hit. And he represents the tying run. It's still very early to talk about tying runs, but still in the course of this game where the Mariners have not had many hits, a power hitter like Shunk could do some damage right here.
The 3-2 pitch once more is fouled back into the backstop, and they'll do it on 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Shunk really stretching out this at-bat and this inning as he tries to maybe get West to make a mistake pitch in the zone or just miss wildly out of the zone. So Andre Lipsius is on deck for the Mariners. A 3-2 again to Shunk. Swung on and missed as he gets away from the catcher, Roscom. Shunk will advance towards first base, and that is now back-to-back games. You've seen a Mariner reach base on a drop third strike that gets all the way back to the screen. As now there are 2 outs and runners on first and second. So Shunk reaches on the drop third strike.
It was a 3-2 pitch anyways. If he had not swung, he'd be at first base, but he swings, and it's the same exact result.
So 2 outs, runners on first and second. So Mariners try to scratch across the first run in this ball game as they trail 2-0 over the Gatemen. So now Andre Lipsius with the runners on first and second. West looks to get another punch out. There is the first pitch. Big swing and miss by Lipsius.
Yeah, very, very defensive swing, and he showed during that swing he was badly fooled by the pitch from West. It's a breaking ball that misses well below the knees, and it starts around the knees just above, and Lipsius swings way over it.
A 1 pitch. Just doesn't quite catch the inside corner. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. I think Lipsius might be looking for a fastball. I think West might groove one in there after walking Shunk, or striking out Shunk, I should say. But Shunk was able to reach base. But set through Lipsius a curveball as the 1 pitch to Lipsius. Curveball is swung on and chop on the ground, foul.
Yeah, Lipsius was way ahead of that pitch too. I think he was fooled on it, but he was able to get some contact as it was another breaking ball, and he was well out in front of it, grounding it down the third base side.
So 2 strikes on Lipsius, 2 outs, 2 men on here in the bottom of the third inning. 2-0 Gateman lead over the Mariners. West comes set, looks back. Rivera at second base. Will fire towards home. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Lipsius a little bit late on that one. And just like that, West able to work out of the jam as he records a strikeout on Lipsius. So 2 men left on here in the bottom of the third, and after 3, the Mariners trail the Wareham game in by a score of 2-0. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Top of the fourth inning from White House Field, a 2-0 Wareham Gateman lead as Austin Wood returns for his fourth inning of work. Austin Bruni alongside Thomas and Zarella. Glad to have you on hand for tonight's game. There are some defensive changes. We'll jump into those in just one moment as the first pitch misses low for ball one. The leadoff hitter for the Wareham Gateman, Kreidler. A 1-0 delivery from Wood. Pitch misses low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. So the defensive changes. Gorski comes out of the game. Norman moves from left field to center field. Eichhoff moves from first base to left field. Lipsius moves from shortstop to first, and entering the game at shortstop is Tanner Morris. 2-0 pitch, fastball in the upper part of the zone at the letters for strike one. So a lot of switches needed to get the one player into the game they wanted. That was Tanner Morris. As a 2-1 pitch, check swing from Kreidler. He goes around, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. No word on the reason that Gorski comes out of tonight's game. And Thomas, I don't know about you, did you see anything that happened to Gorski during that?
I'm not sure exactly what happened. We'll have to keep an eye out, for tomorrow and see, what if it was just a coaching decision or if something serious could be going on.
The 2-2 pitch from Wood. Bounces before home plate, and the count runs full at 3-2. Now, going back to the last 2 innings, Wood has struck out 6 consecutive Wareham Gateman hitters. He's at 60. He's got closing in on 70 pitches now. As the 3-2 pitch, and it's going to be strike 3. Goes down, swing. I guess it's a check. Did he go around?
I think he did, or it might have been in there for strike 3. Not quite exactly sure, but
well, it looked about 5 to 6 inches outside, and he appeared to check his swing. And I'm not quite sure why Kreidler was called out on that pitch, but he was nonetheless, as the home plate umpire Mark Delaney calls out Kreidler, and there's one away in the top half of the fourth inning, making 7 straight strikeouts. The first pitch to the 8-hitter Luke Roscom is swung on, a hard line drive down the right field line, foul towards the bullpen.
And I think he might have gone around. So I think that's what ended up happening there.
So there's one out, top of the fourth inning, the 0-1 pitch. This is outside in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on the 8-hitter Luke Roscom. The 1-1 delivery. Fastball outside in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
So far since that second inning, Woods has done a nice job back on the mound, really slowing down after that 2-run second inning from the Gateman.
The 1-1 delivery cut on and missed from Roscom, and the count 1-2. And Wood, who has struck out 7 consecutive, looks to increase that to 8 as he's ahead in the count on Luke Roscom. Base paths are empty. Top of the 4th inning, a 2-0 Wareham Gateman lead. The 1-2 pitch runs well inside on Roscom. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roscom digs back in from the left side. 3-2 pitch. Misses low for ball 4, and Roscom walks.
That time it's a walk. No check swing or anything close there, so we're able to see that that's a walk. Not delayed call from the home plate umpire like last at bat.
And Hunter, left-handed hitter, steps in as there's a runner on first base with 1 out. The first pitch from Wood, fastball misses outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. So finally, after striking out 7 consecutive Wareham Gatemen, the Gatemen able to work a walk off of Wood. And Wood, again, he still has a positive strikes to balls ratio, so he's done a pretty good job in terms of his control recently as the 1-0 pitch misses outside with a breaking ball, and the count 2-0.
He's looked a lot better, as just mentioned before, with the strikeout to walk ratio. Again, we saw that incredible streak from Wood. He struck out 7 guys in a row.
The 2-0 delivery swung on, a high chopper over towards third. Shortstop coming in as Morris. He's not going to have a play as Hunter beats out the ground ball. And there was a runner on first to start that play. That was Luke Roscom, and he ends up advancing to second base. It looked like it may be an opportunity for Casals at second to try to come in, but then it looked like Lipsius was going to try, or excuse me, Morris was going to try to play that ball over at shortstop. By the time he got there, there was no chance he was going to have a throw over at first base.
That's just tough for the Mariners. I mean, that's just about as good of a hit infield hit as you can get by the game. And again, that's probably more of Morris's ball. He came charging in as fast as he could, but that's going to be a tough play, especially when Hunter can move down the line. That's a tough break for Austin Wood and these Harwich Mariners.
Runners on first and second, 1 out. First pitch off speed, misses upstairs, and the count 1-0. Back to the top of the order with Valenzuela, who's followed by Austin Shenton. The 1-0 delivery. Breaking ball misses just upstairs and outside, and the count 2-0. So Valenzuela steps back into the left-hander's batter's box. 2-0 pitch, swung on and fouled off over towards the Wareham dugout. The count 2-1. Roscom off second. Hunter off first. 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. A 2-0 Wareham lead as they look to extend their lead to a couple of runs. The 2-0, 2-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off. And the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Valenzuela. And Valenzuela, though he doesn't have a hit in tonight's game, he's looked very good recently. Has a 3-game hit streak going.
Yeah, again, for you fans out there, I know we're having some video difficulties. It's new technology this year. Not an easy job as well. We're only volunteer interns.
The 2-2 pitch caught on and fouled off behind home plate.
For a small league like this, I think it's great that we have video for the first time this year. Years past, we just have had the audio. Most teams have now switched over to the video again. Broadcast network here on the Cape Cod wasn't started until 10 years ago, back around 2005-ish. So we thank you for bearing with us through those difficulties.
Runners on, first and second, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning. First pitch. Excuse me, not the first pitch. The 2-2 pitch just misses for ball 3. The scoreboard was all reset to 0-0, and it confused me for a second as I said the first pitch. It was the 2-2 pitch that was missing for a breaking ball count. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Valenzuela. The 3-2. Cut on and fouled off over towards the Wareham dugout, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes on Valenzuela. So the at-bat continues to go longer. It will be pitch number 8 on Valenzuela next. Off of second base is Roscom. Hunter off of first base is the home plate umpire Mark Delaney receives some new balls from the ball boy here.
A very big at-bat for Valenzuela. It's either you can reach base here, or maybe even a double play, or either be an out, or something big can happen here. Can either go well for Wareham or poor for them.
The payoff pitch, cut on a high pop-up down the third base line, fouling out of play. Shunk gave it a couple of jogs over there towards the Harwich Mariners dugout, but ran out of room. Quickly figured out that ball was going to go out of play. So count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes on Valenzuela. The 3-2 pitch misses upstairs, and it is another walk issued from Austin Wood, his second of the inning. And the bases are loaded with 1 out for the most dangerous hitter in the Wareham lineup, Austin Shenton, as they've got another opportunity to not only add a couple of runs onto the board, but really give them a nice advantage.
Yeah, these next 2 hitters, and Shenton and Inans, these are probably 2 not only the most dangerous hitters on this Cayman team, but in the league as well. These 2 guys are up and down.
Well, this might do it. We're going to have to see what the move's going to be. So Mason Meadows is going to walk out, have a chat with Wood, and now they're both looking over towards that Harwich Mariners bullpen. Let's see if Coach Englert's now going to come out to the mound and make a pitching change, or he's going to stick with Wood. Let's see. And no, here comes the pitching change. Waiting a few extra seconds, trying to give Cal Kruger a few extra warm-up pitches before he's going to come into the game. We've seen that tactic used a few times, and the catcher comes out, makes that initial visit, and then he goes back behind home plate, waits for the manager, Coach Steve Englert, to then make his trip out to the mound, and then they make the pitching change as Kruger gets a couple of extra pitches. So we'll step aside as there's a pitching change from White House Field. The bases are loaded with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning for the Wareham Gatemen. It's a 2-0 Gatemen lead. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside White House Field. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella. Glad to have you on hand for tonight's ball game. A 2-0 Wareham Gateman lead with one out in the top of the fourth inning. The bases are loaded as the new pitcher Cal Kruger enters tonight's game. Comes in for Austin Wood. The first pitch is swung on, a ground ball right to short, and it goes under the glove of Tanner Morris and into center field. One run comes in, and rounding third and scoring is Hunter. It's a 2 RBI error, and it is a 4-0 Wareham Gateman lead.
That's a big play that really now doubles lead from 2-0 to 4-0. So it's a tough break for the Mariners, as that looked like maybe an inning-ending double play, but just gets under the mid of the shortstop Morris.
And they continue to look to add on to that lead as Jeremy Idens digs into the left-handed batter's box. First pitch misses low for ball one. And Austin Wood, just to go over his start, he goes 3 1/3 innings of work. 1-0 pitch, cut on and fouled off. He allows 4 hits, 4 walks, hits a batter, but he strikes out 8. He's on the hook so far for 3 earned runs. And the runner on second is still his responsibility. A 1-1 pitch from Kruger. Swung on, a line drive towards right field. It's going to get in for a base hit. Rounding third is Valenzuela. He'll score, and the runner's on first and third as the Wareham Gatemen add on to their lead, and it is a 5-0 lead in the top of the fourth inning.
A nice job by Idens. We said these 2-3 hitters in this Gateman lineup are some of the most dangerous in the league, and for themselves right there was Shenton getting an RBI, and then Idens as well just slices one down the right field line and drops him for a base hit.
Runners on the corners, 1 out. Top of the fourth inning, 5-0 Gateman. As this game has started to unravel. First pitch, fastball in there for strike one, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. And now Wood has been charged with all 5 runs. 4 hits, 4 walks, 5 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. The 0-1 delivery swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. Parks digs back in from the left side. Runners on first and third. The 0-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards second base. Takes a bad hop and goes over the head of Casals. Another run scores. It's Shenton and advances out. And it's now a 6-0 lead for the Wareham Gatemen.
Well, it's just one of those unlucky hops to Casals at second base. I mean, the baseball gods are just against the Mariners this evening. It looked like it was recorded out, but all of a sudden it hits off the lip and goes straight over the head of Danny Casals. I mean, that's just a tough break. Nothing you can really do there.
Now 6 hits on the evening for the Wareham Gatemen. They've also added 4 walks. They've been hit by pitchers. 11 batters who have reached base in just 3 1/3 innings of work. And the first pitch is swung on, a chopper right back to the mound. And Cal Kruger was going to throw to third, and then everybody's going to be safe. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out. He looked the runner back at third and then looked over to second base, and he doesn't throw out anybody, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a mental error. I think in that situation, you just want to get it out and just throw it all over to first, but I think he tried a little bit too much there and just try to get the runner at second base.
So the bases are loaded with 1 out once again, and it will be Lockhart who digs in from the left side. $6-0 Gateman lead. First pitch, fastball in the outside corner for strike one. The 0-1 delivery. Cut on and fouled off down the third base side. Count 0-2.
We'll have to see here if Flaherty can, or excuse me, not Flaherty, yeah. If Kruger can get out of this inning.
The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball misses low and in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off down the third base line, out of play by Lockhart. And this game is 6-0, and the Wareham Cavemen have a comfortable lead, but they could make that, significantly more comfortable and really put this game or blow the gates wide open if they can get another base hit here. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off. Mariners looking to get back into this game. They're going to need the bats to come alive to do that, though. Only had 1 hit on the evening. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lockhart. Idens off of third base. Off of second is Park. And at first is Goldfarb. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off, out of play once again.
Yeah, Lockhart's done a nice job this at bat, really just pushing balls out of play. We'll stay alive and wait to see another pitch in this at bat, and still down the count though, but anything can happen.
The 1-2 pitch, fastball misses outside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lockhart. Kruger's had control. It's just been pitches left out over the plate that the Wareham Cavemen have been able to hit well, and then a couple of errors and a couple of balls that just took bad bounces, and that's been the story of the top of the 4th inning. Two-two pitch, cut on and fouled off down the left field side once again. This seems to be a constant story for Lockhart, heading balls down that third base line, foul and out of play. Be the 9th pitch of the at-bat from Cal Kruger.
He's been late on pretty much most of them down the third base line, as you mentioned, and again, just find a way to make contact with each and every single pitch.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Kruger throw some sort of a breaking ball and try to get Lockhart to swing, or an off-speed pitch. The 9th pitch of the at-bat. Swung on, a line drive, foul. This one at least closer to in play as it heads over to the Harwich Mariners bullpen. And it will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat upcoming to Lale Lockhart.
That time was an off-speed pitch, and almost just keeping the hands back was Lockhart. Kept him back long enough that almost sliced in for a base hit down a left field line, but that ball was always slicing because he's a left-hander.
The 2-2 pitch swung on, a foul tip. Almost looked like he'd swung and missed, but just barely getting a piece of that one was Lockhart. So the at-bat continues. And Cal Kruger has a ball to work with. I'm a little surprised he hasn't tried to at least throw another pitch out of the strike zone and get Lockhart swinging, as this will be pitch number 11 of the at-bat. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 3. Looked a little bit low, but he gets the benefit of the doubt, and Lockhart is not happy with that call. And it did look a little bit low, but Delaney calls him out on strikes.
There's been some disagreement not only tonight, but last night as well. Right back here at White House, Phil Mike Roberts was he was irate for most of the game. I mean, just the balls and strikes and couple plays on the field might continue here tonight. There's been a couple calls that we thought might should have gone the other way, but the ball and strike level, but just haven't.
And the first pitch to Kreidler swung on and missed, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Idens leads off of third. Parks off second, Goldfarb off of first. 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning, a 6-0 Wareham Gateman lead. They played 4 in the inning. 0-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off over towards the Mariners' dugout, and the count 0-2. Kreidler digs back in from the right side. The 0-2 from Kruger on the inside corner for strike 3. Kruger gets Kreidler looking at the end of 3.5. It is the Harwich Mariners 0 and the Wareham Gatemen 6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom half of the 4th inning from White House Field in a 6-0 Wareham Gateman lead. As Nate Eichhoff, left-handed hitter, digs in. First pitch swung on, a ground ball down the first base line for a base hit. Rounding first and heading over to second base is Eichhoff, although he loses his balance and he's holding his hamstring now. Let's hope he's going to be okay. Runner on second base with no outs as he's walking back over towards his helmet. Let's see if he's going to stay in this game and be okay. He tripped over his own feet as he was rounding first and heading over to second base with that leadoff double. And he's just starting to come around this season and looking very good over the last 50 at-bats or so.
And the Mariners don't need another guy going down to the injury. Looks like he's okay now, but running, he tripped and started holding the back rear end towards the hamstring area.
That's always a scary spot. Whether it's pulled or torn or strained, whatever it's going to be, it's always scary with those injuries. But it looks like Nate Eichhoff is just fine and returns the game. First pitch to Casal, swung on, a high fly ball to left center field. Hunter on the run, he makes the catch. Tagging and heading over to third is Eichhoff, and he's in there safely. Nice job by Eichhoff with the aggressive base running, proving that his leg is just fine. And there's a runner on third with 1 out.
That was a hard hit ball by Casal out in the gap in left center field, but just not enough. Got a little under it, a little bit too much, so the center fielder Hunter with his speed was able to range over to left center and make the catch, but a nice job by Eichhoff. He read that ball. I was watching the whole time. He ran back towards second base because he might have thought that just in case he's going to tag.
And Tanner Morris digs into the left-hander's batter's box. First pitch, a fastball in the inside corner for strike 1. Now, Tanner Morris, of course, was on the podcast this past Monday. If you want to go and check that out, it's available on Twitter and YouTube. Talked about a lot of things, including the count remains 0-2. Has an opportunity to drive in a run with Eichhoff leading off of third base. Morris in the 6th spot tonight. We followed by Driscoll and Meadows. 0-2 pitch. Getting a piece of it again. Fouling it off behind home plate was Tanner Morris. And West has done a very nice job keeping his pitch count pretty low. He's right over around 50 pitches right now. It's the 0-2 delivery. Cut on and fouled off, and he's gone 3 1/3 innings of work. He's kept the Mariners off the board, only allowed a couple of hits.
done a nice job this evening. Only until that Eichhoff double is only one hit allowed through 3 innings, 2 through 3 in the third.
0-2 pitch swung on, a weak ground ball over towards second base, fielded by Valenzuela. He'll flip to first, but it's enough to get the job done and bring in Nate Eichhoff to score the Mariners' first run of the ball game, and it's a 6-1 game.
Well, that's all you need, just chip away a little at a time, and nice job there. Eichhoff with the doubles, then they moving over on the fly ball from Casals, then scoring on the ground ball. That's how you manufacture a run on the Cape League textbook right there. And that's why the leadoff man is so important in the game of baseball.
First pitch, a big breaking ball at the belt for strike one on Logan Driscoll, and the count 0-1 on the left-handed hitter. The 0-1 delivery. Fastball misses low, and the count 1-1 strike. Base paths are empty. 2 outs. Bottom of the fourth inning, a 6-1 Gateman lead. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella. Glad to have you with us this evening. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball miss outside, and the count 2-1.
And when West has missed, he hasn't missed by much. I mean, a lot of his balls have just rarely missed, the fringe of the strike zone.
The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, a foul tip off the glove of Roscom, in the count 2 strikes on Logan Driscoll. Driscoll has a lot of speed, and he was just recently starting to come along with his bat. Had a couple of infield base hits last week, and then a couple of strong line drives over the past week or so, and the 2-2 pitch misses outside. Count 3 strikes. He's averaged just over 200 on the season.
And now he's above that Mendoza line level, building a lot of confidence at the plate.
3-2 pitch, cut on a high pop-up into foul territory. Third baseman Shenton gives it a look and runs out of room over towards the Harwich Mariners dugout, and the count remains 3 strikes.
And bounced directly right off the dugout of the Mariners.
So Driscoll digs back into the left-handed batter's box. The 3-2. Swung on a high fly ball to deep center field. Hunter headed back to the track on the run. He makes the catch. Very well hit ball off the bat of Logan Driscoll. At some ballparks, that's a home run. But here at White House Field, it's just a long fly out to the warning track as Hunter went back on that ball to make a nice running catch. At the end of the fourth inning, it's the Harwich Mariners 1 and the Wareham Gatemen 6. You're listening to Mariners Baseball at the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Luke Roscom, the left-handed hitter, digs in from the left side to start things off in the top half of the 5th inning. It's a 6-1 Harwich Mariners trail the Wareham Gatemen. First pitch to Roscom misses outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 delivery. Fastball misses outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on Roscom. Base paths are empty in the top half of the 5th inning. A 6-1 Wareham Gatemen lead over the Harwich Mariners. They scored 4 in the top of the 4th, 2 in the top of the 2nd. The 2-0 pitch is on the outside corner, and the count 2-1. The 2-1 pitch from Kruger. Breaking ball misses low, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter Roscom. Roscom came around and scored a run. He's been walked and hit by a pitch. 3-1 pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. That's an awfully generous call to Kruger as Roscom is on his way to first base and called back by the home plate umpire, Mark Delaney.
Yeah, we've seen some calls this evening where guys been called back into the batter's box.
And a 3-2 pitch cut on, and a slow chopper over towards second, fielded by Casals. He'll toss over to first base, and there's 1 away in the top half of the 5th inning.
It's kind of weird go back to Roscom's stance. The batter, or the bat at the top of his stance. I want to say it's almost like a Trot Nixon or like a Jason Varitek where he's kind of holding it up there. Or
going way back.
There's someone else, too, who's in today's game who has the bat like that. I just slipped my mind
I know
right
what you're
now.
talking about. It's sort of waving around in a circular motion.
There. Ah, man, it's going to bug me the whole night now.
First pitch cut on and fouled off down the left field line, out of play. Now, Trot Nixon, I remember him, he had that sort of powder on the bill of his cap.
Oh, yeah. A lot of guys put the pine tar on the helmet, too. I think he was a guy that did that as well.
The 0-1 pitch misses low to Hunter, in the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Hunter also came around and scored a run. 1 for 1 with a walk as well. The 1-1 pitch from Kruger. Misses low for ball 2, in the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Hunter. 1 out, top of the 5th, a 6-1 Wareham Gatemen lead. 2-1 pitch, swung on, a ground ball. Moving over is Morris. He'll throw on a first, and it's just barely in time to get the very speedy Hunter over at first base.
Yeah, Hunter, the center fielder, the 9th spot. He's got a lot of speed. We've seen it this evening with a high chopper behind the mound earlier back in the 4th inning, and able to beat it out. And that's what he brings to this Gateman lineup. A guy that has a lot of speed at the bottom of the order. He also plays very good defense as well.
And back to the top of the order now. You mentioned Hunter at the bottom of the order. Now Zahid Valenzuela, the left-handed hitter, digs in and takes a look at strike 1 on the outside corner. So far, Cal Kruger has had good control, 25 strikes, just 8 balls. The 0-1 pitch cut on, a line drive over towards left field, in there for a base hit. As Eichhoff will play it on a hop. There's a runner on first base with 2 outs.
Valenzuela reaching base for the 2nd time this evening. He's hit a couple hard hit balls besides the strikeout. The line drive would have been up the middle back in the 1st inning, but it was caught by the pitcher Wood.
And the leading hitter in average on this team, Austin Shenton, steps foot in the left-handed batter's box. Runner on first base, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, a 6-1 Wareham Gatemen lead. The first pitch, breaking ball misses low for ball 1. One 1-0 pitch, cut on and fouled off down the third base side, out of play. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery misses low and in the dirt and gets away from the catcher Meadows. Advancing to second base is Valenzuela. So a runner on second with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. It's going to be a pass ball against Meadows.
And just talking about Austin Shenton, I mean, he's second league in average and only behind Matthew Barefoot.
2-1 pitch, check swing. Manages to hold up in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike on Austin Shenton. Top of the 5th inning and a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead.
He only trailed 4 points heading into this game. Barefoot at 396. Barefoot is currently on a 22-game hitting streak. That is the longest streak in over 10 years in the CCBL.
3-1 delivery. Pitch on the inside corner, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now, I know that Andre Lipsius had reached base in 23 straight. That's not the same thing as a hit streak because reach base includes walks and when you're hit by a pitch. So Morris managed to do that. 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt for ball 4 on Austin Shenton. And Morris also has a very good batting average at .311. Not quite up there at .390, but still very strong.
Number 7, the left fielder from UCLA, Jeremy Idens.
Batting averages are not nearly what you see them in college as the right-handed hitter Jeremy Idens digs in. And part of that's because of the wooden bats. Part of that is the better pitching as the first pitch comes inside and hits Idens. And now the base is loaded with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. So it's Idens off of first base, Shenton off of second, and Valenzuela off of third. In college, you'll see some guys with averages over 400, and they'll come over to Cape Cod, and some of them will hit 275. And then you'll see some guys who hit 350 in college, and you'll come in and you'll see them hit 390 like Austin Shenton. But generally, there are only a few guys here who will hit over 330, and there are many in college baseball who will hit over that mark as the first pitch misses outside to Pavin Parks. Coming into tonight's game, only 4 players in the Cape Cod League are hitting over 330. 1-0 pitch misses low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead. 2-0 pitch, swung on and fouled back towards the screen behind home plate, and the count 2-1.
Actually get through that screen. There's a hole right here in the top left of the screen just above us in the broadcast booth. So I think someone might have found a lucky ball just right down below them. Might have dropped right in their lap almost. Can almost stick your glove out there and catch one if it catches that part of the netting again.
2-1 pitch, cut on a high, pop-up foul out of play down the third base side, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases are loaded with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. The Wareham Gatemen have an opportunity to blow the gates wide open. (6-1) Gateman lead. Mariners still are in this game, though. If they can string together a few hits and put together a couple rallies of their own. The 2-2 pitch misses upstairs to Shenton, and to Parks. And the count 3-2.
Big pitch here. Either Parks can drive in a couple of runs or win this battle.
3-2 pitch, cut on a high, pop-up foul out of play down the third base side, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Especially with the runners will be running a 3-2 pitch and 2 outs. I mean, that's going to at least play 2 on a single, maybe clear the bases on a double. So Kruger's got to watch where he's going to put this one.
(3-2 pitch, swung on a high fly ball into left center field. The center fielder, Norman, shades over and makes the catch to end the top half of the 5th inning. We're halfway done from White House Field. It's a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead, although they strand 3. Mariners coming to bat in the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 5th inning from White House Field. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Cinzarella as the Harwich Mariners trail in this game 6-1. They look to put together a rally here in the bottom of the 4th. In the bottom of the 5th to try to get back into this ball game. They scored 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. As the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses low to Meadows for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch from West is swung on, a line drive down the third base line for a base hit. Rounding first is Meadows, and heading into second base. Throw to second is not in time, and it's a leadoff double from Mason Meadows as he starts to put things together at the plate himself. With no outs in the bottom of the 5th inning, Harwich Mariners have a bit of a rally going. It's all about chipping away at this Wareham Gateman lead. No outs, runner on second base, a 6-1 Wareham Gateman lead as Gabe Rivera digs in from the right side. First pitch swung on, a high fly ball foul down the first base line, out of play. Runner on second base. The 0-1 pitch swung on, a high chopper foul towards the Harwich Mariners dugout, and the count 0-2.
Going to be big right now with after a double from Meadows. If Rivera can get him in here. Tough time tonight for the offense for the Mariners to this point.
Big if he could even advance him over to third base. It's the 0-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed upstairs, I guess. Looked close, but breaking ball doesn't fall in for strike 3. .65 pitches thrown from West tonight through 4 innings of work. The 1-2. Misses upstairs the fastball, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gabe Rivera. The 2-2. Misses outside, but a check swing. They motion over towards the third base umpire, who's playing over closer to second. That's Michael Flynn, who says he does not go around.
That's a nice layoff there by Rivera, able to extend this count now to 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now anything can happen here. Let's see if Rivera can try to work another walk here in his 5th inning.
3-2 pitch to Rivera, misses well outside, and he draws walks number 3 and 4 on the season tonight. On base for his 2nd time tonight.
This is big now. Top order coming right back around.